Hey, what's going on? This is Gavin 202, aka Gavin Randy, with the WWE news of Dean Ambrose being favored to win the WWE FASTLANE main event triple threat match despite low betting odds. So, uh, according to the Inquisitor, WWE superstar Dean Ambrose has gotten more and more popular over the last number of months. He is always liked by WWE fans, it seems, but then in the Shield year ended, he clearly stood out as a top babyface. WWE used him to help elevate other stars like Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, but fans continue to love him despite this. In fact, the losses Dean Ambrose suffered only made the crowds louder in his favor. So now it seems that Ambrose cannot go anywhere without getting one of the loudest pops of the night. WWE is a little over a month away from WrestleMania 32, and which is supposed to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time. They of course say that every year. They of course say this every year, but the problem is WWE is still pushing for Roman Reigns to be the biggest event of the year and leave the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. The fans do not seem to want this, and it seems like WWE understands that up to a point. So the last few weeks, WWE has made Dean Ambrose out to be some sort of unstoppable and resistant assassin. He will not bow down to Brock Lesnar, and he will not turn on his brother-in-arms in Roman Reigns. All he would do meant good if he can a main event WrestleMania against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Triple H and win the championship. Whether or not WWE intended to, fans simply want to see Ambrose win more and more. So the betting odds are not in Ambrose's favor. According to 5dimes.com, Roman Reigns is 600 favorite WWE Fastlane, while Brock Lesnar is plus 640 favorite. Dean Ambrose, however, is a plus 800 favorite, being the least likely to win. The winner is the official number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so the win on Sunday is a huge deal. There cannot be a tie, nor it would make sense. WWE NXT has had a tie issue for the last month regarding the number one contender with Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe. It would not make sense for the main roster to follow the same story involving Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Brock Lesnar is out of the picture in most part set to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. So the Wrestling Observer newsletter claims that the Wyatt family could very well assume Lesnar at Fastlane attacking Lesnar, but is not certain if they will cost him the match. That being said, is that the Wyatts very likely could be people who take out Lesnar out of the match. It would be weird if they didn't get involved toward the end, which is allow Reigns or Ambrose to win. Bray Wyatt could also be part of the ending as well, as his rival with Roman Reigns could flow into the main event too. That means very well could hand the match to Dean Ambrose. Now, since WWE is pushing for Reigns, the fans don't want Reigns, they want Ambrose, and WWE is trying to keep Lesnar as far away from the WWE World Heavyweight Championship picture as possible. So fans still see Ambrose as the favorite, so do many experts, only because WWE now has a time to avoid an issue that they couldn't the last few years. Daniel Bryan had to be forced into WrestleMania 30 main event, WrestleMania 30 because of the WWE Universe and the fans, and WWE had to end the WrestleMania 31 main event with Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank contract because they weren't in the corner of Roman Reigns. So on top of this, the setup for Ambrose the last few weeks have led up to a main event run for him. WWE can now add Dean Ambrose into the main event for fans and have a person like Roman Reigns face off with The Undertaker or someone else of that nature would make sense. Neither Ambrose nor Reigns really have a match outside the main event that makes sense for them, honestly, but believe Reigns can be thrown into it just in any fit and well. WWE took the Intercontinental Championship off Ambrose this past week, meaning the IC title match with him is out of the question at WrestleMania. There is no need to rehash his rivalry with Kevin Owens. So on top of this, there is no reason to take a little title off of Ambrose unless a bigger plan was out for him. The IC title has been the title that has led to World Heavyweight Championship glory in the past, interestingly. So all signs have pointed to Dean Ambrose winning could be him and a major upset. However, WWE's obsession with pushing Roman Reigns, despite the fans may say that it is a problem to have and addressed, was thought that just hardcore and inner fans wanted for Ambrose. Now the casual fans do too. So at the end of the day, WWE has to cater both sides. So adding him to the main event is not only making sense; it could truly be one of the best options. Either that or the night ends with the sea of boos, and WWE does not want that. This is will happen, and The Rock helps his cousin. Then looked at the Royal Rumble from last year's reference, which ended in a boo out of the building. So more updates as they become available. But until next time, subscribe.